relatively close to Belize, and this would be Guatemala here. So they are talking about huge migrations. Started somewhere in Asia, Mongolia, crossed the Bering Strait, the part where Canada almost touches Russia, kept migrating. Somewhere concentrated here in the central part of Mexico, up in the mountains in the Sierra Madre, in the states of Oaxaca and Mexico, and Oaxaca and Puebla in Mexico. In caves, archaeologists have recovered physical evidence proving that around 7,000 years before Christ, somewhere in this region they had already domesticated avocados. But they were not ready for the guacamoles yet. They had to wait 2,000 years. Around 5,000 years before Christ is when they domesticated chili peppers. Chili peppers, ladies and gentlemen, became essential in our diet because chili peppers kill bacteria. They have some minerals that you can get in any other source in here. Potassium among them. And well, it adds that flavor, preserves the meat, helps preserve the meat. But chili peppers are hot. We still have a number of varieties of wild chili peppers. Wild chili peppers kill bacteria, they have the same flavor. The difference is they will burn your mouth and your stomach. Once they get that domesticated, they will burn only your mouth. So how can you identify which chili peppers are safe for you to eat? Very simple. Wild chili peppers are growing pointing up. When they domesticated them, they are pointing down. So whatever chili pepper you see growing up pointing down, doesn't really matter what color it is. It's safe. Has been domesticated. Around the same time they domesticated tomatoes. But they were not ready for the pico de gallo yet. They were still missing the chicks. Greatest invention. We can call it genetic engineering. Probably one of the greatest inventions of the Americas. 4,000 years before Christ. In caves in the state of Puebla. Again, physical evidence. They know now. They all agree. We are talking about 3 different seeds. So far, they have been able to fully identify one of them. It's called teocintle. Teocintle is a type of grass. So they combined these 3 different types of seeds, and that resulted in the creation of what today we call corn. Did you know this plant was created by humans?
I believe.
This is the best cereal that exists. It was created by humans for humans. But it's tricky. It's the only plant in this world that can't reproduce itself. Somebody needs to plant the seed. Corn has amino acids, niacin, riboflavin. But talking on a molecular level, those nutrients are encapsulated. So before, if you eat corn just by cooking it, making it soft, without breaking those capsules, they will just pass through your system. And over time you'll develop a disease which is called pellagra. Pellagra is known by its 3 evil Ds: dementia, diarrhea, dermatitis. So it's actually the lack of vitamin B6. Since you don't absorb the amino acids, your body cannot benefit from that vitamin. So to make corn safe for you to eat, first of all, they had to come up with an invention. That invention is a process which is still in use. It's called nixtamal. Nixtamal consists in simply cooking the corn. When the corn is cooking, they throw in a handful of lime, or quicklime, that burnt limestone. That is calcium oxide. That calcium oxide breaks the capsules, releases the nutrients, and the calcium adheres those nutrients to the dough. So once you have cooked the corn in that way, you can grind it, you can eat thousands of tortillas for the rest of your days, and nothing, absolutely nothing will happen to you. Sounds pretty simple, but it took them thousands of years to get to that point. When Cortés conquered the Aztec Empire, he's the one who saw the people eating the corn, the tortillas and all of that, and Cortés took corn from Mexico to Europe. But he made a big mistake. He sent just the corn. and he failed to send the nixtamal process. In the 17th century, corn was adopted in Europe, but later there was an outbreak of pellagra. They blamed that on corn, and they were right. Since then, in Europe, they believe corn is not good for humans, it's only good for the animals. Therefore, it's only used for the animals. But now they have realized what has happened, and now corn is gaining that popularity again. So, see what happened here. A group of people have created their main staple. They were no longer nomads. They had become farmers. Little by little, they settled down, and we are talking about a society doing the first steps towards becoming a civilization. A civilization, ladies and gentlemen, is a group of people who needs 5 pretty simple things. First one of them, their own language. It has to be unique. You can copy anybody else's language. It has to be unique. When you get your language, you need your own writing system. Also has to be unique. When you get your writing system, you need your own pantheon of gods. In other words, your own religion. When you got your gods in place, you need your political organization. Whether we like it or not, they say we need politicians. When you got your politicians in place, there is only one thing left. You need a currency, commercial relationships, and then you have become a civilization. Oldest of the civilizations of the Americas settled down here, the south of Mexico, by the Gulf of Mexico. These guys are known as the Olmecs. Has anybody ever heard about them? Well, they set the basis for a number of civilizations. So, using the basis set by the Olmecs, different groups took different directions. A group of them reached the highlands of Guatemala here in this region. Using the basis set by the Olmecs, they took them way to a different level, and these guys are the ones we call the Maya. Down in central Mexico, well, there were different groups, but in central Mexico there was another group. It's called Teotihuacans. They were the ones who built the temples of the sun and the moon right outside Mexico City. Teotihuacans later in time conquered the Mayas, but then they collapsed, abandoned their city, left them behind. The Mayas started migrating from Central America, mainly towards the north, reaching the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula close to their collapse. What I'm saying, oldest Mayan cities are in this region. Most recent ones are here, being Chichen Itza, Tulum, Uxmal, Ekbalam, Coba, the most recent ones. If we draw a timeline from here to here, we are talking about nearly a couple of thousand years. So that's a lot of time. During that time, they made a lot of progress. A lot of advances in arts, math, astronomy, philosophy, even in religion. They got a lot of influence from Teotihuacans, but as the Mayas are concentrated here in the northern section of the Yucatan Peninsula, as they are collapsing, there is a new superpower rising in central Mexico. These guys are called Toltecs. Toltecs are described as taller, stronger people. They worship one of the most controversial deities, Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent, who was always thirsty for blood. So Toltecs conquered the Mayas here. They brought in Quetzalcoatl. So those of you who have been to either Tulum, Chichen Itza, Coba, Uxmal, maybe you remember those feathered serpents decorating the walls of the temples. That was Quetzalcoatl. Anyways, Mayas are collapsing here. We got then another group of people. They call themselves Mexicas. Mexicas claimed they were migrating from a mythological place they called Aztlan. That's why the other groups of people call them Aztecs. Aztlan is somewhere in North America. Nobody has ever found Aztlan. They got here, found the city in ruins built earlier by the Teotihuacans, reoccupied, rebuilt the place, made it their own capital. They were warriors. They were like parasites, abusing the other groups of people. So what they did, they claimed tribute. Since all of the land around them was already taken, the only place that was left was a lake. So they started dominating the people, and these people were subordinated. And then the tribute they were paying was nothing else but rocks and construction materials. So they started filling in the lake. Little by little, they created a spectacular city. When the Spaniards arrived, all of these groups of people surrounding the Aztecs said, it's time for revenge. So they joined Cortés, defeated the Aztecs. The rest is history. Anyway, this is kind of messy. I don't know where